Hi guys, this is Connie back for some more Connie Reads Ghost of Spiritfarer. We are on chapter 7. The following day, Sunday, Peter convinced his mother to let him hang out with Cole. "What happened?" Peter exclaimed when he saw Cole's puffy lip and swollen eye. "A truck hit you?" Cole explained all that had happened. "You should have seen the look in their eyes when I told them they would have to kill me," he said. "What if they had killed you?" Peter asked. "They'd have gone to jail." "That wouldn't help you much." "They would never really kill me." "You don't know that," Peter argued. "Now you're sounding like Garvey. Everybody criticizes what I do, but nobody has a better idea." "What did Garvey say to you?" Peter asked. "He wants me to give Keith flowers and kiss him," Cole said sarcastically. "Really? He said that?" "Not exactly, but he said to fight with my heart." "So take your heart and throw it at Keith," Peter said, grinning. "Maybe he'll get a concussion. The blood will splatter all over, and your heart will bounce around on the ground, beating and..." Okay, Cole interrupted. "Hey, Peter, yesterday I sat in front of the mall and became invisible." "Like on the island?" Cole nodded. "And remember how we sometimes saw the spirit bear appear and disappear? Well, yesterday I opened my eyes and found that old homeless guy staring at me across the parking lot. I looked down for just a few seconds, and when I looked back, he was gone." "That's weird," Peter said. "I was thinking about that old guy too. His carving looked so real, and it wasn't even finished yet. I wonder where he learned to carve." "There's lots of things about him I wonder about." "So where can we go today to be invisible?" Peter asked. Cole glanced down the street thoughtfully. "Just for the fun of it, let's try someplace really noisy again, like in the park." "Sounds good," Peter agreed, starting out excitedly. Cole eyed his friend as they walked. Getting slapped and kicked by Keith could easily have taken Peter back into depression, but he was hanging in there. Reaching the park, they picked a comfortable patch of grass under a big Norway pine. Nearby, teenagers laughed and shouted, throwing a frisbee. Parents called to their children. A baby cried nonstop, and two barking dogs kept chasing each other. "We'll go so far into the quiet of our minds that we won't even hear the sounds," Cole said. "Okay," Peter said doubtfully, closing his eyes. Cole did the same, breathing in deeply. At first, random thoughts bombarded him, so he focused and imagined the spirit bear standing on the shoreline of the island. He imagined a drop of rain landing on its white fur and then slowly running down the side of the big animal until it finally dripped onto the ground. Cole almost let the thought end there, but then he drew in another breath and followed the raindrop as it soaked into the soil, wetting the root of a tree. Slowly, the tree absorbed the moisture, drawing it up and through the trunk until it reached the branches and leaves. Gently, the wind absorbed the moisture and carried it to the sky to help form another cloud. Soon, another drop of rain fell from the sky, landing on the spirit bear. Another circle was complete. Cole slowly opened his eyes and looked around the park, half expecting to see the homeless man again. All he found was noise and commotion, but he felt calm. Peter's eyes were already open. "You were gone a long time," he said. "What were you thinking about?" "About rain falling on the spirit bear," Cole answered. "How about you?" Peter shrugged. "I couldn't think of anything because dogs were barking and the baby kept crying. I wanted the dogs to go over and bark at the baby." The second week back, things grew worse. The school's crowded stairwells and dark, narrow hallways were like a madhouse, with kids slamming lockers, shouting, shoving, and tripping one another. As usual, most of the teasing and bullying was ignored by the teachers. Keith and his bunch mimicked Cole's injured right arm by purposely hugging an arm in close to their waist as they passed him in the hallway. Alex pretended it was an accident when he bumped Cole hard with the shoulder and tripped him. In study hall, Keith approached Cole's table. Hey, you turd, he growled under his breath. You didn't have to press charges just because I shoved you a little. What a weenie. Cole pulled up his shirt to show the large bruises on his ribcage. You call this a little shove? My parents are all bent out of shape, Keith said. You drop those charges, or I swear I'll... Or you'll what? Cole interrupted. Kill me? Leaving, Keith gave Cole's chair a hard shove. Cole knew he and Peter weren't the only ones bullied. Midweek, he noticed some football players teasing a student with Down syndrome by using baby talk to her face. He also spotted 4 girls following the thin girl he'd seen teased the first day of school. Fear haunted the girl's eyes as her tormentors mimicked her every move. Something else kept weighing on Cole's mind. Finally, he had to do something about it. Thursday, when Peter met him after school, Cole excused himself. I need to be alone, he said. Can't we be alone together? I'm going to go see my dad. For real? Cole nodded. Does he know you're coming? Cole shook his head. I'll tell you how things go. Peter waved goodbye, and soon Cole was on the bus headed downtown to his father's office. Well, hello, the secretary said when Cole walked in. Haven't seen you in a while. Let me check and see if your father's free. If he's not with someone, I'd like to surprise him, Cole said. Hesitating, she motioned Cole toward the closed door. Okay, go on in. Cole nearly chickened out. He knocked cautiously, then turned the handle and eased the door open far enough to poke his head inside. His father sat behind a large desk wearing a suit and tie. At first, he didn't look up from his work. When he did, surprise and hostility showed in his eyes. What are you doing here? He asked. Cole entered and closed the door behind him. I just came to see you. His father rocked back in his chair. So what do you want from me now? Nothing, Dad. I just wanted to know how you're doing. I haven't seen you since last year. How did you expect me to be doing? Your mother won custody of you with her abuse charges. Social services is all over me. The divorce cost me a mint, and my business is half what it used to be. Is that all that's important to you? Cole asked. The money and your reputation? What else is there? I gave up on you years ago. Cole wasn't sure what to say next. Listening to his father, he felt like he was standing on a train track with a freight train barreling toward him. Dad, this isn't about anybody's money or reputation. It's about you and me. It's about our family. In case you haven't noticed, we don't have a family anymore, thanks to you. Cole's voice trembled. I've been a real jerk, Dad, but I'm trying to make things right. It's too late for that. You and your mother already messed up my life. Mom filed charges because you drank and got violent. You started hitting me really hard. You deserved a good spanking. Getting drunk and hitting someone until he bleeds isn't a spanking, Cole said strongly. Keep your voice down, his father said, glancing toward the door. So why are you really here? Cole swallowed the rush of feelings that threatened to flood his eyes with tears. Dad, you never wrote me a single letter while I was gone. Wouldn't have done any good. You don't know that. Being on the island changed me, Cole said. You have to believe that. We all make mistakes, but maybe things can be different now. Cole's father stood, towering over Cole. His voice grew cold. You get something through your dim-witted skull, he said. I don't buy your act for 1 second. You haven't changed. You've never fooled me. I don't need you barging into my office causing any more problems. I'm busy now and have a lot to do, so unless you have something else to say, you need to leave. He motioned toward the door. Cole started to go and then turned back. Dad, one more thing. His father sat down heavily. What now? Mom quit drinking and is doing great. I'm so delighted, his father said, thick with sarcasm, examining some papers he had picked up off his cluttered desk. Anything else? Yeah, Cole said, tears welling up in his eyes. Dad, I miss you. His father refused to look up. Cole didn't want his father to see him cry, so he rushed from the office and out onto the street. He blinked again and again in the bright sun. He had been such a fool to come down here. What had he expected? That his father would hug him and say he loved him and missed him? Suddenly, Cole felt empty inside. Stupid. You're so stupid, he mumbled to himself as he waited for the bus that would take him home. And that's the end of chapter 7. I definitely got all the feels and started crying. Be careful with that and enjoy. Please and thank you. And I will see you for the next installment. Oh, there it goes. Bye.